What's up, everybody? I'm Alan Seslowsky, and thanks for tuning in to RosterWatch. As you know, RosterWatch is a year-round fantasy football intelligence gathering operation in which culminates into all of our tools for our pro members. There are many strategies and tools that you can use in order to build a winning fantasy football team. Today we're going to discuss a few alternative strategies that could lead you on a winning path to fantasy championships this year. The first alternative strategy I'd like to talk to you about is stacking. Stacking has become a popular strategy in daily fantasy football. But on podcast 267 of the RosterWatch podcast feed, they talked about stacking as a season-long strategy. As a quick refresher, stacking is drafting players on the same team of correlating positions. And what I mean by that is, take the Atlanta Falcons, for example, drafting Julio Jones in the first or second round, Calvin Ridley in the third round, and then drafting Matt Ryan in the late single-digit rounds in order to have all those correlating position players on the same team. This effectively raises your ceiling, and if the offense hits, all those players can outperform their ADP. The problem is some of the better offenses are hard to stack and will cost you high picks. Taking Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson early with their receivers leave you with almost no resources to draft premium position players on other teams. So a couple examples of stacks that you can have that are affordable would be Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals stack. You can feasibly get DeAndre Hopkins in the second round, Kyler Murray in the 6th or 7th round, and Christian Kirk a little bit later on. Another great affordable stack, even getting a little bit less expensive, would be Matt Stafford, DeAndre Swift, Kenny Golladay, and Marvin Jones. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Rob Gronkowski would make a great stack for Tampa Bay. And let's not forget about Pittsburgh, Big Ben, James Conner, Deontay Johnson, and James Washington all would line up and make a very efficient stack. As you can see, it is easier to stack with the mid-tier options, but still have the same upside of those offensive hit. Before we continue, a quick word about what's going on over at RosterWatch.com. The 2020 RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet is available now at RosterWatch.com. The revolutionary cheat sheet that changed fantasy football forever is back, only at RosterWatch.com. RosterWatch.com Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet. All you need to do is follow 3 simple rules. That's it. 3 rules. It couldn't be any easier, and an expert quality fantasy football draft is guaranteed. The RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet is available now at RosterWatch.com. The next strategy I want to talk to you about is drafting the non-primary option on good offenses for fantasy. For example, Baltimore, Kansas City, New Orleans, even the New York Giants, who have a pretty solid passing game. It's difficult to attain the primary pass catcher on some of those offenses. So what do? We have to take a look at the secondary options. Let's look at Kansas City, for example. Mecole Hardman versus Sammy Watkins. Getting Tyreek Hill on your team, the primary option, is going to be difficult if you don't pick towards the end of this first round or the beginning of the second round. Likely he won't be there for you in the end of the second round or early third round. So we take a look at the secondary and tertiary options. Hardman versus Sammy Watkins. Now, the draft market is hot for Mecole Hardman right now. He's going in the 8th round. Understandably, there's a lot of upside there, as last year, even on low volume, he was extremely efficient. Sammy Watkins has a higher receptions projection and can be had 2 rounds later. So, taking a look at those two, Sammy Watkins might be the better bet. But sure enough, we know if Sammy Watkins can't stay healthy, and he's had trouble doing that, Mecole Hardman could certainly be projected for an uptick in volume and could be a fantasy difference maker at an affordable price. Also, let's take a look at the New York Giants pass catchers. Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Evan Engram, and even Saquon Barkley, who catches a lot of passes, were never healthy at the same time last year. Oh, and let's not forget Darius Slayton, too, who's the most expensive of the bunch. Now, this sets up really well for Daniel Jones. RosterWatch really liked what we saw out of Daniel Jones from a fantasy perspective in 2019. Now that they're all back healthy, how we determine who is going to be the best pass-catching option in this offense. Now, Darius Slayton is the most expensive, going in the 8th round of most 12-team leagues. But Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard's reception projection and yardage total is better than that of Slayton. It could be a bias that Slayton was the last player standing last year in 2019 and that the market is overreacting to the healthy player. Right now, RosterWatch is advising targeting Golden Tate or Sterling Shepard over Darius Slayton. Although we still love Darius Slayton's upside, we cannot project a high level of targets for him, especially at his ADP. Okay, Roster Watch Nation, that's it for today. Remember to like and subscribe to get notifications when we go live, and leave us a comment in the video. We will comment back. Until next time, goodbye.